All right, folks, good morning. Markets will be opening shortly. Sorry. Let's get started. Looking at the economic data for today, we have the following. So, for Wednesday, May 1st, we already had ADP non-farm employment change, which came in at 192,000, which is actually a lot better than expected. At 9:45 a.m., we'll have final manufacturing PMI. Which is also a very important report. At 10 a.m., we'll have ISM manufacturing PMI. We'll also have JOLTS job openings, ISM manufacturing prices, and construction spending month over month. All day, we'll have Ward's total vehicle sales, which is not a major report, neither is construction spending. Then at 2 p.m., we'll have the federal funds rate, which is the most important report of the day. This is where the FOMC is going to decide what the interest rates are going to be. The expectation is that they remain unchanged. But the markets will be looking for any comments that suggest that the FOMC is not going to raise lower interest rates this year. That's what basically the market's looking at to see if there are any statements that suggest that there will not be any interest rate cuts. And of course, even worse, if there will be any interest rate hikes. So I have the FOMC statement at 2 p.m. Eastern as well. Then at 2:30 p.m. you'll have the FOMC press conference. So all that coming up. All right, so today we have a huge amount of news coming out. So all we can expect is a lot of volatility today. So do not expect today to be a calm day. We did have a massive sell-off at the end of yesterday. A lot of stocks took a very sharp plunge. Volume spiked very sharply across the markets, as you can see here on the NASDAQ. So let's take a look at that. So here's the NASDAQ, the QQQ ETF. You can see at the end of the day, we had a very sharp decline in the price. You see a very sharp incline in volume. Looks like a lot of sellers wanted to sell prior to today, maybe in anticipation of what might happen. Yesterday's action was mostly bearish as well. The markets are looking like they're going to open lower than where they were yesterday. They are moving slightly higher back towards yesterday's close, dotted red line, but we'll see. As far as stocks moving yesterday, not a huge amount of things that were moving, but well, except later in the day. Microsoft was bearish. It was able to reach target number 2 to the downside of 393.86 and then go quite a bit lower than that. Roku was originally bullish, reached target number 1 to the upside of 61.40, then completely sold off to where it actually hit target number 2 to the downside of 57.55, which of course is very rare. Micron MU was initially bullish as well, able to reach target number 1 to the upside of 116.23, then completely reversed, and eventually, just after market close, it got to target number 1 to the downside of 112.13. Google, similar fate, was bullish at first, able to reach target number 1 to the upside of 167.53 and a high of 168.10, but then turned around, sold off all the way down to target number 1 to the downside of 163.69. Next up, we have Baidu. Now, this was a good trend. This was able to reach target number 1 to the downside of 103.48. Okay, and then it flattened out after that. Next up, we have Meta, which was able to reach target number 1 to the upside of 437.12 and a high of 439.62 before turning around and basically retracing back to its opening range. Next up, we have Coinbase, which was a good trend down, able to reach target number 1 to the downside of 205.74 before flattening out. And Billy was bearish, BILI, but not able to keep going down. It got about 2/3 of the way to target number 1 to the downside, which was 12.46, but not able to reach it. So overall, yesterday, for the first part of the session, not a lot of great trends, but some were pretty good. All right, so looking at the pre-market, let's see what we got. So first up, we have AGBA, which is currently up 13.74% on 3.3 million shares and at least $1 per share. So we will go ahead and add that to our pre-market watch list. Oops. Again, the symbol is AGBA. All right. Oops. Next up is NYCB. Oh no, sorry, that's the New York stock. Never mind. Next up is POAI, which is currently up 24%. 2.6 million shares is at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that to our pre-market radar, POAI. Next up is TGTX, currently up 27% on 1.5 million shares and at least $1 per share. So we'll add TGTX to our pre-market radar as well. Next up, we have Tilray, TLRY, which was up sharply yesterday, but doesn't look like, oh, actually, this is down 6.88% on about 2.8 million shares, and it's at least $1 per share. So we'll add TLRY to our pre-market radar as well. And I also see Tesla on my list, but I don't think it's moved enough. Nope, only 1%, so not enough. So if you folks see any other stocks other than the four that I've already mentioned, which I'll paste in the chat right now, if you see any other stocks that meet our four criteria, let me know in the chat. We're looking for a NASDAQ listed stock that is at least $1 per share in the current pre-market trading. It has to have traded at least 1 million shares of pre-market volume and achieved at least a 6% price change, positive or negative. PALI, sure, let's take a look. Currently up 44.6%, 2.2 million shares and at least $1 per share. Okay, so we'll add that to our pre-market radar. Any other stocks that meet our criteria, let me know. Okay, Starbucks, let's take a look. Yep, currently down 12.9%. 1.3 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll add Starbucks to the pre-market radar as well. Obviously, they got hit on the earnings. CGTX, I think I don't have that. Nope, CGTX. CGTX doesn't have the criteria, so that's definitely not the volume or anything like that. CTMX. Yep, that's currently up 59%, 60% on 1.9 million shares, rising sharply, at least $1 per share. So we'll add a CTMX to the pre-market radar. Next up is SLS, which is presently up about 27%, 1.8 million shares, it's at least $1 per share. So that will be added as well. All right, so we didn't add CGTX since it didn't meet the criteria. I'll check again, but I'm not seeing the right criteria there. But definitely SLS meets the criteria. We already have Tilray. So if you folks see any other stocks meeting all four criteria, let me know in the chat. We'll take a look. Yep, maybe. All right, so AMD, yeah, not sure why. AMD currently down 5% off of earnings. I'll add it to the watch list anyway, since it's a major stock and it's down a lot. All right, so we'll wrap up for today. Folks, please be sure to like the video. I see we got 14 likes, but more than 14 people watching. Please hit the like button. That'll greatly help us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel. For anyone watching this on a replay, please be sure to check out fundertrading.com, our website. There is a link in the description of this video. Other than that, for everybody else, I'll see you in the coaching room if you're part of the coaching program in 25 minutes. And otherwise, I'll see you guys for tomorrow's Premarket Pulse. Make sure you watch out for the FOMC today. Lots of big news coming up today, so trade very lightly and very cautiously today. Thanks, guys. Take care.